The simplest way to describe JFC is that we're really bringing the jewelry industry together to make sure that kids who need help get what they need. This year, we brought on 4 new nonprofit partners. One of them works in childhood literacy. One of them works with kids experiencing food insecurity. One of them does college preparatory work. The 4th one works with kids in the foster care system to ensure they have what they need, right? I really made a choice to work at organizations that were dealing with people who had experienced trauma and giving them tools to work through it. And that's actually what JFC does. That's what we're funding at JFC. So it's a good continuation.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of For the Love of Jewelers. I'm your host, Mark Nelson. And today I have with me the Executive Director of Jewelers for Children, Sara Murphy. Hi, Sara. How you doing?
Great. How are you doing, Mark?
It's doing great. It's so wonderful to see you and be able to talk to you. I have been a huge fan and supporter of Jewelers for Children for almost my entire jewelry career. When I even started in the little small shops in Flagstaff, Arizona, all the stores I worked with had that little 10 can that you put your extra change in. You know, we might come back to that topic a little bit later, but
yeah, I'd love to.
So I've seen that logo for 30 years, you know, and then I was at JCK one year and ran the Rings of Strength. Yeah, that didn't go well. I survived and I made it across the line, and that's where I'm gonna leave it at that.
That's all that matters.
So yeah, I've been aware of Jewelers for Children for many decades, and really love learning more about how you're contributing to the industry and helping all the children and all that other stuff. You okay with if I just kind of lead it right into the first question?
Yeah, I'd love that. Thanks.
Okay. So before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey? How did you find your way into the jewelry industry and eventually to JFC? And for people who are listening, JFC stands for Jewelers for Children.
It's a long name. We JFC a lot. So I started out working in the arts. I was lucky enough to have a beautiful baby girl at some point and moved into more classic nonprofit work at that time. I worked at a school for low-income boys in New York City and then went on to work in a number of nonprofits as sort of the head fundraiser, the director of development. And was looking for an executive director job. I was ready to move into a role where I was running things. And Jewelers for Children just sort of appeared at the right time. I met so many board members over my interview process and fell in love with just the industry and the people and how incredibly kind everyone was. So I feel very lucky to be here. I'm still learning jewelry. We can't do any jewelry questions in the podcast, but the nonprofit stuff I've got down.
That's a whole different skill level, man. It's like, you can't do your job without that. How did you get started in nonprofit stuff? I mean, it kind of seemed like a little bit of a leap.
Yeah. So I got my master's degree in arts administration, which is the running of nonprofit arts organizations. And I did that for a few years and it was great. But I realized that I wanted to be helping more people, right? And that was easier to do sort of in the nonprofit sector if I ventured outside the arts. So I really made a choice to work at organizations that were dealing with people who had experienced trauma and giving them tools to work through it. And that's actually what JFC does. That's what we're funding at JFC. So it's a good continuation.
Yeah. And JFC covers a lot of different, what'd you call them? Grantors?
Yeah, we call them our nonprofit partners.
Nonprofit partners. So I know Make-A-Wish is one of them. Organization for Autism, St. Jude's. What are some of the other ones?
Yeah, so we work really closely with Elizabeth Glazier Pediatric AIDS Foundation. We're actually their largest independent funder. So over the past 27 years, we've given them more money than anyone but the federal government, which is, it's an exciting connection to have. And also at times when that federal money is going away, they've been able to lean on us and we've been able to be active parts of the conversation. We work with Make-A-Wish International. We fund about 250 wishes a year in India. which is cool. A lot of the wishes in India are to have a computer, to have a bike. And then this year we brought on 4 new nonprofit partners. This is their first year. We call it a seed year. But one of them works in childhood literacy, right? Because we know that if kids don't learn to read by 4th grade, they're probably never going to learn to read. One of them works with kids experiencing food insecurity because you can't learn if you haven't eaten. One of them does essentially college preparatory work, getting kids into an environment where they have everything they need. It's a really holistic program. And then the 4th one works with kids in the foster care system to ensure they have what they need, right? So instead of moving their things in suitcases or in trash bags, they have suitcases, right? They have shoes that fit. They get to have experiences that kids in foster care often don't get to have.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. There's so much good stuff you guys are doing. I had a chance to listen to your podcast with Michelle Orman with Couture, and you talked about the Make-A-Wishes in India and how they like the things like her computer or something like that. And you mentioned that they like those things so they can just do online classes and participate in school and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it's kind of wild. When we think about kids being sick, right? We think of kids experiencing illness. We always think of them laying in hospital beds. But the reality is that's not what that experience is for most children. So most kids that get wishes through Make-A-Wish go on to live long, healthy lives, right? A wish is part of the treatment. And so I think these wishes to have are really investments in these kids' futures too, right? Like if they can go to school, they're going to be better off when they're feeling better. And not everyone feels better right away. Sometimes it takes a long time. Not everyone feels better. But for the most part, the point of a wish is really to give kids the ability to keep going and take treatment and sort of push through.
Yeah, it's amazing. And one of the cool things I loved about the website, I went to the Jewelers for Children website, and they list by state all the wishes they've granted and what they wish for. And I, looked up New Mexico right away. And one of them was to host a party for homeless children. That was her wish. That was just amazing.
Yeah, so many of the wishes are kind, right? Like you
Yeah.
think about yourself as and a lot of the wishes JFC does happen to be teenagers. That's just sort of how it shakes down. But there was one wish where the wish kid was really interested in funding a shopping spree, but not for themselves, for their family.
Yeah.
Because over the years, their family had given up so much for their treatment and they wanted to give back to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think about my 14-year-old, like, would that occur to her? I don't know. But it's really incredible that these kids sort of like take the time to think about other people while they're going through so much.
I got another question for you. For people who aren't familiar with the JFC, how would you describe its mission in simple terms? What is the heart of what you're trying to do? And I think you already touched on this a couple of times, but.
Yeah. I mean, the simplest way to describe JFC is that we're really bringing the jewelry industry together to make sure that kids who need help get what they need. Right. And that's the really simple part. We did a rebrand this year, so we have a new logo and a new look, and we're working on a new website, which is all very exciting. But part of that rebrand was a survey of the industry. And one of the things we heard in that survey was that people think of JFC as a way that we as an industry come together, right?
Yes.
So for philanthropy, all being in the same room, right, it means more. And so I think a huge part of what we do is that sort of ability to bring people together for something we all care about, right? Even if you don't want to be in a room with 500 kids, that's okay. I'm not judging
that's
you.
Right. You still care about them.
Yeah, they are the future of what we do, right?
Yeah, so you have a lot of donors and sponsors. I know the Rio Grande is a big sponsor, and Richline and Stellar and a bunch of other entities, Jewelers Mutual. How are you connecting with the smaller entities, the mom and pop shops and things like that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we need to get better at it. It's something that I think we're working on. So I've been at JFC a year and a half, and it's been an active conversation, right? Like, how can we be connecting to these smaller shops or people that may not go to Vegas, right? Our gala is in Vegas, and the beginning of JFC was really centered around that gala, a dinner we used to call it. But I think that we're working on programs that are not place specific, right? They have to do with what you're doing. So we're doing our Rings of Strength, which is our 5K. We're doing that virtually this year, and we'll
How
send
you,
you your ring.
how are you going to do
But
a
you don't
virtual
have to do it,
5K?
Mark.
You going to run around the
You
house?
Well, I mean, you do it out in your neighborhood, maybe. And
Okay.
I say at the beginning of every Rings of Strength, we measure 5K with our hearts, right?
That is
So
so
whatever
true.
5K means to
Mine was
you
about
is
20
good for
feet.
us. But we're working also. We did an online program last Halloween where people could donate $5, and $5 was a vote. And whichever of our panel got the most votes had to wear a silly costume on Halloween to their office, right? So we're thinking of ways to get the community more involved. We used to do something called JFC Day in September, but this year we're switching it to JFC month, the whole month of October. And on our website pretty soon, there'll be a list of things that you can do in your store or in your office or wherever you are to sort of celebrate JFC month with us.
How
So
would
we're
people,
thinking about it.
yeah, how
Yeah.
would people who are listening to the podcast find out about how to do that?
Yeah. So jewelersforchildren.org is our website. And we try to create like really easy to comprehend guides, right? So you don't have to think too much about it, because I think the biggest barrier to fundraising when you're busy running a store and dealing with merchandise and customers, we really want to make it so that all you have to do is pick something off the list and put together the pieces we give you and put it out there.
Today's episode is sponsored by Eve Polishers, and they are amazing. I've been using them for years, and I really, really love them. Now through July 31st, use promo code EVE15 at checkout to get 15% off time-saving Eve Polishers. Embedded with an abrasive, they grind, smooth, and polish in fewer steps. You can use them with a flex shaft, a rotary tool to shape components, remove scratches, and achieve a brilliant finish. Trust me, guys, you guys are going to love these. I was on the website, and it is very easy to navigate. It's one of the easiest ones I've ever been to. Is this the newest version that's out right now, or no? So it's going
No,
to get better.
yeah, in the fall it'll be even better, and I think you'll be able to see the impact of what we do on the new website, right? Like more pictures, more video,
Nice.
because that's the best part is seeing, where the
How it's
money
working.
goes and how it helps. Yeah.
Yeah, and all the stories. And speaking of stories, do you have a favorite story of something that JFC has done for somebody?
Yeah, I have so many favorite
I know you
JFC
have a
stories.
lot.
This is a rough one. I think one of my favorites is if you look at the history of JFC, we have these nonprofit partners that we work with, and some of them we've worked with for 27 years, right? So there are people at these organizations who've known JFC their whole careers, which is kind of amazing, right? But one of those organizations is Elizabeth Glazier Pediatric AIDS, and we had a woman named Martha and her son Judah speak at our gala this year, and Martha was living in Africa. Her family was there. It's where she's from, and she had experienced HIV in a bunch of pretty intense ways. She was HIV positive, but because of the work of Elizabeth Glazier, she got to give birth to 2 HIV negative boys. And they now live here in the States. And we got to meet one of the boys, Judah, at the gala. And I cannot tell you how funny and smart and incredible he was.
How old is he?
He's 14. He just turned
Okay.
14. And one of the questions that our MC asked Judah was, "What do you like about your mom?" And she said that he practiced and practiced, and most of his answers were jokes, right? But because he's a 14-year-old. But when it came down to it, really, he was able to express how grateful he was that he had the opportunity to live a life where he wasn't thinking about his health all the time, right? Like he had the opportunity to just be a 14-year-old. And I am so proud of the work that we do to help kids who've experienced trauma, but I'm also really proud of the work that we do that is preventative, right? So when you think about maternal care, especially in places where maternal care can be difficult to get, you're not just helping one person, you're helping two people, and then you're helping their families and their families. So that
Communities.
one in, yeah, exactly. That one in particular, I think has been really special.
That's awesome, man. And then I heard the story about the cheerleader. The whole they got the was that a local jewelry store that helped put that together? Or?
It was John May's Jewelers. And so John May's Jewelers did a wish and they found out the Wish kid really liked cheerleaders. So they had the high school cheerleaders greet her at the door when she came, and which was incredible. And I mean, there have been so many wishes where the jewelers have gone above and beyond. We did a wish with Pandora last year, and
Oh,
um,
okay.
they kindly gave the Wish kid a bracelet and one for her mom, and they engraved them with each other's initials. You know what I mean? And those are things that they could wear and always think about each other when they weren't together. And so, yeah, the wishes are an amazing experience. And if anyone wants to work on one, they should just reach out, because we fund at this point about 20 a year, and we're always looking for people who want to be a part of it.
And it's jewelersforchildren.org, right?
Yeah, jewelersforchildren.org. My email's there. You can email me
Yeah.
anytime. And then there's guides. We have something called JFC Gems, which is sort of our employee giving program. There's a lot of guides there for that, so that you can work through your HR department so that your employees can give monthly through their paycheck. They don't have to think about it. Then give
Oh, yeah.
$5 to JFC right off the top. And then we're working on a new page for our Roundup program, which is very exciting. So those
Ru-
canisters you mentioned, Mark, like
Oh, the
this
Roundup
was a
program.
while
Okay.
ago. We still have them. If you have a
Right.
canister, you're one of my favorite
Keep it.
people. But yeah, keep it. But what happens is people would put their change into the canisters when they
Yeah.
were in the jewelry store. I don't know about you, but I haven't had change in 5 years.
No,
Like
I found a penny in my pocket the other day. That's all I had.
baffling. Yeah, why? So we have been very lucky to have an alternative to the canisters, and it's Roundup. So, when you go to like the Walgreens and they say, "Do you want to round up for?" It's always like very vague. But we're able to say, "Do you want to round up for Jewelers for Children?" These are the 9 nonprofits they're supporting, right? And so we have some stores participating who are doing really excellent work. Rogers and Holland is one of our biggest supporters of Roundup, but also Reed's. Daniels is joining us, and it's one of those programs where even if you're sending us $20 a month, it all adds up, and
Oh, it
it's
all
really,
adds up.
really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys can help with? Like if somebody was interested in doing the Roundup thing?
100%. So we
Okay.
work with some of the point of sale systems. So
All
if you
right.
know which point of sale system you have, we can be helpful there. And then if you need some code written, we can talk to one of the other retailers and
See how they
get
did it.
code from them. Yeah, and see
Yeah.
how they've done it.
That's fantastic. What kind of looking ahead, what's next for Jewelers for Children? I know you got the new website. What are you guys looking to do?
Mark, I just did so many things. I'm so
I know,
tired.
right? What more can I do?
So, the reality of JFC is that we've been thinking a lot about how to modernize it. So when I started a few years ago, what we said was we were like at a baseline 2010, right? But we really wanted to be in 2024. And I think we've gotten to like 2022. We're getting there. So we did this large scale rebrand, which also gave us an opportunity to look at the way that we were interacting with the jewelry industry, which has been great. I think we want to continue to deepen our relationships with the nonprofit partners as part of this sort of expansion. So we don't want to just write them a check and then hear from them a year later, right? We want to be actively participating in the communities. We want jewelers volunteering. We really want to understand ways that we can give back that are more than just money. So, for example, one of our new partners, the Ticket to Dream Foundation, they work with the kids in foster care who need things. they give graduation gifts to the kids. Because if you think about it, who gave you graduation gifts, right? It was your parents or your parents' friends, your grandparents. So a lot of these kids in foster care, they're not getting gifts when they graduate. Um, and it's one of those experiences that just makes you feel like really special, and it celebrates a milestone. It's important. So we're going to work with them on seeing if we can get some jewelry donated, some watches, you know what I mean? The kind of things
Oh,
that you
yeah.
would get for graduation, right?
Yeah.
So how can we be working with these nonprofits on a deeper level to ensure that, you know, we're really supporting kids holistically, which is something we think about. The other exciting thing that's happening is we do our Facets event every May. And well, at JCK, whenever JCK happens. This year it was June. But we do it at JCK whenever they tell us to be there. And I think that this year we had a really exciting energy in the room. And a lot of that was due to our Rising Leaders Council. So our Rising Leaders Council, we say it's for the new generation of jewelers, but it can really be, you know, whoever feels like they're coming up in the jewelry industry, they're looking for a community, and they want to be with like-minded people. So we do trainings on what it's like to be on a nonprofit board. We meet up at jewelry shows, but it's a group of people who want to support JFC and want to do something philanthropic, and want to do it through the industry. And are they on the younger side? Yes. But they are, I like to describe them as just the people with the most energy in the room. So that's an exciting thing that I'm looking forward to nurturing. And Alexis Pattis from Pattis Jewelers runs that and has done just a
Okay.
beautiful job.
And what's
Yeah.
the name of this group again? It's Rising
The Rising Leaders Council.
Writing. God, that just sounds so
We call it the RLC.
RLC. There you
RLC.
go. Rising
Yeah,
Leaders
there you go.
Council. I'd love to be on a council. That'd be awesome.
Come join us, Mark. I guess the only other thing is we have an online event we're doing in August, where we're going to try and fund as many backpacks as we can for kids in
Okay.
need. So it's $20 a backpack. It's really easy. It's our backpack drive. And we're just going to see as a community how many backpacks we can put together.
How do you think you might
So
do
that's
that?
kind of exciting.
Is that going to
So
be
you
like
can go to our
your
go ahead.
website? Go to your
Yeah,
website?
so you can go to our
Okay.
website. It'll be right there. I think it'll say Backpack Drive in big print if I have my way.
Can't miss it.
And it's just another way that we're hoping to connect with the community and really drive some resources to our nonprofit partners.
Okay. So one of the things I really liked about the website and just kind of doing a little background but background information was seeing all the numbers, how much money you guys have raised and how many children you've helped. So what's the current totals on that?
Yeah, so we've given away over $65 million to our
65.
I know, it's amazing. And so much of it really, you can sort of like, you can think about it in terms of kids. So
Yeah.
$7 treats one pregnant woman with Elizabeth Glazier. With one of our new partners, No Kid Hungry, $1 is a meal for 10 kids, right? So if you think about what $65 million has done, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and you can keep going and doing more. So
what else do I got?
How many kids do you think you've touched and helped?
It's millions of kids, which is exciting, right? I always think about our impact less in number of kids and more in this idea that we've changed the lives of so many families too, right? So one of our new partners is the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. And what's important about their mission is that, and anybody who has kids knows this, right? Like it's something I think parents talk about. It's a part of the conversation, is that you need somewhere safe for your kids to go, right? And sometimes it's at campus too expensive. Sometimes it's that they don't want to be there. Sometimes you just need somewhere for them to be at after school. But to have somewhere like the Boys and Girls Clubs where the kids are also getting this sort of like incredible support system, right? Has really, it revolutionizes their lives, but it also creates a support system for that family. And so I like to think that we've helped over 65 million families, if I'm doing the math.
If I'm doing the math. And you were talking in your podcast with Michelle and Couture podcast about is it still possible that people, when they donate, they can say, hey, like, I really love Make-A-Wish, or I really like a lot of this money to go to there? Can they kind of make it to order kind of deal, or?
Yeah. So if it's one of the partners that we're already working with, that's completely possible. So if there's one of the partners on the website, we do have a pretty intense vetting process for our nonprofit partners, and that's because we don't want to give money to people that aren't going to use it responsibly, right? That's really important to us. So we have a committee that chooses our grantees, and they decide who gets what money. But if it's a partner we already have, we're always happy to take funding that you want to go to a particular place. Yeah.
Awesome. That's pretty much all the questions I had for today. There again, floor is yours if you want to mention anything that we haven't talked about. I do want to reiterate your website, which is jewelersforchildren.org, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. And you can email me there. You can see
find
our
out all
program.
information.
Yeah, you can send me an email saying you want to join a committee, you want to volunteer, whatever you need, you can find it there.
And I started following you on Instagram.
Oh, thanks.
And so I can get all the updates and see what kind of changes or events that you guys are having. So
Great.
That's a good way to touch base with you guys too.
Totally. So we have LinkedIn, we have Instagram,
right.
and we have Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. I got to look for you on Facebook then. Well, thank you so much, Sara. It's been really wonderful talking to you, and I really look forward to how Rio Grande and Jewelers for Children can continue to partner, and how we can continue to contribute. I just told you, I speak 500 words a day, and I can't pronounce any of them. So anyway, thank you so much for dropping by, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks for having me.
So that's it for today's show. And a big thank you to Sara Murphy for sharing her journey and the incredible work that Jewelers for Children is doing. And thank you to our sponsor, Eve Polishers. I trust me, you guys, you can really love them. And don't forget to use the code EVE15 at checkout for 15% off now through July 31st. And be sure to like and subscribe, and that's how we can do the work that we do. Please reach out to us at podcast@riogrande.com with any questions for the show or new ideas for future episodes. Thank you and have a great day.